Be strong.
So I'm going to start a series on the truth about, and this series is going to be focused on bodybuilding because that's the sport I came out of. I have been a top national level bodybuilder and then a pro bodybuilder in the IFBB as well. I have coached men all over the country, up in Canada, and I even have stuff in print. So I know quite a bit about the inner workings of it. And I'm doing this mainly because bodybuilding has taken such a turn that even in my day, it was a very unhealthy sport. But it has now become a sport that is way beyond the pale. It is going to the point now where people are doing things that are literally killing themselves. I got a call a few years ago from a young man who was 21 years old, and he told me, he said, "Look, Jeff, I need to talk to you real quick." And I said, "What's going on?" And he told me that he was having an extreme amount of headaches, and to the point where he felt like the back of his head was literally going to pop off. And the more I talked with him, I told him, I was like, "Okay, give me a little, for instance, of what you're taking, what vitamins you're taking." And he gave me a laundry list of drugs that he was taking from a very popular internet coach, who, quite honestly, when I heard it and heard the amounts he was taking, I told him right away, drop everything you're doing and get to the emergency room. You're about to have a stroke. And I did not hear from him for a couple of days. And when I did hear back from him, he told me that the emergency room doctor let him know that he was at stroke level, that he was on the verge of a major event at 21 years old. The amount of drugs that this coach per se had him on were so high that they were literally deadly. And I see this all over when I get phone calls from guys, things of that nature, about the drugs, the pharmaceuticals, things like that. Things have gotten so far beyond where they should be. It is literally a more is better mentality, and more is not better. This young man now is, I think, 26, and he has a pacemaker in because this internet coach literally damaged his heart. He has been told that he will probably need a transplant by the time he's 40. So this is one of those situations where now that I am retired and from bodybuilding, my life changed drastically in 2019. I got myself right with God as a born-again Christian and immediately retired, went off of all of that stuff except for testosterone. I ruined my body, and I have to take TRT for the rest of my life. And so if I can help save a few guys from having this same type of trauma in their life, cutting their life short, I got to tell you something. Many of the guys that I competed with are now dead, and many of them much younger than I was. So I would tell you, before you start this journey, or if you know somebody that's about to start this journey, get them to watch this video series that I'm about to start doing over the next few weeks. I will tell you that you are going to run into, if you have a loved one that's into bodybuilding, you're going to run into people that have blind passion for something and are willing to go to any extent to get what they want. I was that way. And so at 56 years old, I can tell you from experience that this sport is deadly. Now, people will say, "Oh, well, steroids have not killed any one person that they can prove." but they have attributed to the demise of many, many men and women in this sport over the years. I am seeing so many men and women dying because of misuse of diuretics, misuse and misunderstanding of how to take things, all of that kind of stuff. It's killing them. I can tell you of a popular internet coach who has been dead a few years, who I had major disagreements with about things that he was telling people to take. I had major differences with a lot of those guys. And so for me, I feel like this series is vital for me to talk about. And again, I think that if you know somebody that is trying to go down this path, you need to get them to watch it. Again, you could save their life. Young men and young women who get caught up into this sport have been sold a lie. Number one, if you don't have the right mom and dad, you are not going to make it in this sport. You have to be genetically available or able to make it. Number two, you have to be probably in the 1 to 2 percentile of people who can take this kind of pain. And then number three, you have to be that type of person who has to be able to endure a lot of drugs. And let me tell you something, like it or not, the truth is this sport is all dependent on drugs. I do not care what anybody who is competing at this moment may tell you. This sport is dependent on drugs. And that's the naked truth. You want to know what bodybuilding is? Bodybuilding is nothing but a bunch of shooting stars hoping they make it before their body burns out. I hope you listen and I hope you'll watch.